Hi, I'm Asim Gurung. Welcome to Buckingham News. It was hard to tell Rag Week from Rage Week this year after a flurry of angry emails from staff concerned at what they saw as potential intimidation and disruption at the heart of one of the traditional campus events. The all-staff email address is usually home to dull academic business and maybe a few Danish gags in Latin, but Thursday saw anxiety spirated from all corners of the university. Jala Kader has the story.
Dress Code Week has always been one of the main fundraising parts of the Buckingham Rag experience. There is a different dress code on different days of the week. This year was White Shirt Monday, dress as your favourite lecturer Tuesday, pyjamas on Wednesday, but who wears those nowadays? And Thursday was Inside Out Day. The Rag Police monitor the code and invite those who break it to donate money. This year, cash raised is destined for several meningitis charities in memory of Emily Stiles, daughter of University Administrator Julia Stiles, who died aged 19 last New Year's Day. The opportunities to raise money were plentiful, but most students simply didn't get involved. In addition, the Rag Police were rarely seen on campus. Perhaps that's because the event had barely been announced before anxious staff started complaining about it by email. All said that they were in favour of charitable efforts, but clearly, previous dress code weeks had left a scar. One mail read, "In the past, students have been extremely intrusive, interrupting conversations or blocking the pavement, and trying to force uninterested people into making contributions." Crikey, all this over a couple of quid in a bucket.
Well, I think the spirit of Rag Week is for students, showing that not all young people are selfish and that a lot of young people do actually want to take the time to try and raise money for those people less fortunate than themselves.
Was there any opposition to this?
Sorry, but the word harassment in the context of Rag Week is just bizarre, to be honest. I don't know if you're aware, but we even had, one member of staff correspond and say that this actually could constitute harassment in law. I think we've reached a sad stage in Britain's history if any little thing is the subject of litigation or even discussion of the possibility of litigation. It's a sad day.
But harassment, or probably not harassment, apart, Rag Week still has a final fundraising ace to play with a Las Vegas theme party. By the way, how is Badger's estate similar to Las Vegas? They're both places where sex is regularly exchanged for chips. So at the end of Rag Week, it's no harm done, and there are high hopes that plenty of money can be raised for teenage meningitis. Maybe next year, staff can fine students for late submission of work. That would raise millions. This is Jala Kader reporting for Buckingham News.
Since the global economic crisis of 2008, the financial stability of the Eurozone has been brought into question. A number of parliamentary parties in England have promised a referendum on staying in Europe. Alex Biddle listened in on the debate when a professor in the know came to Buckingham.
From the outset, the euro was a controversial construct. So far that it was confounded many of the critics that simply underestimated the political will in Europe to keep a single currency together. On Wednesday, guest lecturer Professor John Ryan of the University of Cambridge gave us his potential pathways to a more sustainable eurozone.
As you know, the warning lights are flashing red again. And there's a disconnect between the financial markets and the underlying economic realities about recovery, which is too dependent on debt.
Students and guests gathered at the ADR building to sit in and discuss the Eurozone, where Ryan, a research associate, discussed with students the Greek and German economies, along with many serious challenges to the Eurozone, such as sceptical public, populist political parties, and constitutional hurdles. The professor also led a Q&A session where those in attendance could get involved in the discussion.
Ryan believes the UK's recent defeats within the Eurozone need to be addressed.
I think probably the United Kingdom will need to think about its negotiating strategy. I think that you would have never seen previous prime ministers go into a chamber and get outvoted by 28-2. Then that must be another way to actually go into the chamber where you have allies and where you can make your presence felt. And we've seen that there's been quite a few defeats for the British government in the most recent past, and that needs to be addressed.
It seems as if decision makers now need to find a more constructive and proactive solution to the Eurozone crisis, such as debt restructuring. For more information regarding ADR lectures, visit the university website. This is Alex Biddle reporting for Buckingham News.
Those of you living in university accommodation may have noticed your recycling bins now have black bags. There have been changes to waste disposal at the University of Buckingham, with rumours that recycling is no longer a concern at this institution. Jessica Montgomery went to find out more.
Global warming is an issue of more widespread concern, with scientists claiming that sea levels and temperatures are now rising across the globe.
Most students have a low budget, which affects how much they can reduce their carbon footprint. One thing students can do easily is consider what they throw away, but the recycling bins were suddenly changed in accommodation with no explanation why.
Cleaners in the university accommodation have confirmed that the University of Buckingham no longer have the facility to recycle, hence the black bin bags in what was once recycling bins. Buckingham News contacted the Domestic Services Department and they released a statement saying, "At the moment, our waste management is under review and we have no other comment at this stage."
Do students at the University of Buckingham care, or do they see it as a waste of time?
And if they actually do remove the recycling bins, then there's very little that we can actually do on a regular basis to consistently try to impact any change or in terms of the environment.
Well, I haven't noticed that they took the recycling bins out. It didn't really affect me. However, I think it's really important as a university to have a green policy and environmental friendly policy. So I'm hoping they're going to install them back or find another alternative.
I live in Maid's Martin and the removal of the recycling bins didn't affect me at all because we didn't have them before.
If I do want to use it, I'll have to come downstairs, which most of the time I don't. So yeah.
It doesn't really have a big impact because I myself aren't aware that such a thing is happening.
So for now, students are throwing away items that could be recycled, from cardboard to aluminium cans. This is Jessica Montgomery for Buckingham News.
In other news, the Buckingham Town Council has selected a bus shelter design to be built in the centre of town. Andrew Clark from the County Council said it would be a metre wider and a metre longer than the original bus shelters. Transport for Bucks is providing the bus shelter and the style has been chosen to those similar at Milton Keynes featuring a real-time information display. Sir Lawrence Verney, the former renowned judge who presided over the famous trial of Rolling Stone Keith Richards, has died aged 90. Born into the aristocratic Verney family based at Claydon House, he went on to become the first Crown Court judge to try murder cases in Aylesbury. The annual duck race is this Wednesday. All ages are invited to contend. The ducks cost £1 and are available from the University Bookshop, Tanlow Mill and coffee shop at Verney. There are prizes for the winners of the race down the river, as well as best decorated duck. There will also be a band, barbecue and fluffy dog cocktails. A 3-year-old Turkish van cat called Elias has been named this year's most caring cat. Army veteran Jack Dignow Thomas has been coping with the effects of a debilitating mental health condition, and his feline friend has helped him along the way. Holly Knowles went to find out the story.
An Army veteran in Hillsden has been coping with the painful effect of post-traumatic stress disorder thanks to his feline friend. This beloved pet has been named the country's most caring cat in this year's National Cat Awards.
Jack Dingham Thomas has been living with PTSD since serving in the Royal Army Veterinary Corps in Northern Ireland in the 1980s. 2 years after admitting his mental health condition, he was let go from the army. Flashbacks are a constant battle, but his Turkish van Elias has been what his wife Sally calls a lifesaver.
When I go in flashback, I'm back in the major incident that caused my PTSD back in 1983. And I just switch off totally to everything apart from that. And it can be, as I said, days, it can be hours, you know, it can just be a few minutes. If he sees me begin to dissociate, switch off, he will actually make like a wah noise, rush over, hit my chest, and insist upon being fussed.
Studies have found that 3 in 100 adults suffer from PTSD in the UK, and charities such as Combat Stress help with those suffering.
Combat Stress are helping you on the medical side. They want you to go through an anger management course, but accept that at the moment you're too angry to do that. Elias is a completely different help. His is just refusal to let Jack ignore him.
He showed bravery through his actions after one of the members in his brigade went berserk and started shooting people.
I actually volunteered and went into his kennel with him. And I sat there for, I don't know, it's disputed the amount of time. A considerable amount of time with a loaded 9mm pistol to my head.
Mr. Thomas's mental health has been better than it has been in 14 years. Elias may be known as the nation's most caring cat, but at home he is man's best friend. He also took a liking to our camera equipment. This is Holly Knowles, Buckingham News.
Now over to sports with Rebecca.
Thank you, Asim. This week in Buckingham, a charity society known as Project Street Life created opportunities for kids to come down and participate in a variety of recreational activities. Ogiri Omaha went to see them in action.
This week in Buckingham, a charity society known as Project Street Life has created opportunities for kids to come down and participate in varieties of recreational activities.
As you can see, we're doing some cricket with the guys here. It's just an opportunity for anybody in the estate to come and have a little go. It's free of charge. They can come down, try some different sports. The first week we did some handball, which turned into football eventually because a lot of the boys wanted to do some football. But yeah, we tried some handball, which is one of the Olympic sports and one of the legacy sports we'd like to try and encourage. Last week we played rounders, which is a great summer sport. Kids all seem to really enjoy it, and everybody seems to remember rounders from when they were a kid back in school. So this week we thought we'd try a bit of cricket. Again, nice summer sport. Hopefully the rain stays away and we can get a few more kids down here and enjoy a bit of sport. But these guys have been coming for 3 weeks now and they've really enjoyed it. So.
Project Street Life Buckingham is a charity organisation that assists young people from Buckingham and surrounding villages. The society was established 12 years ago for the benefit of young people and also to prevent kids from hanging out on the street.
We have fundraising days in the town to bring people more in. We have a charity market that we talk to people in the town, we hand out leaflets. We do all sorts of things we talk to people. We go on trips. We've just been to Bournemouth for the day, the seaside with the young people. We're going to Fort Park soon, so that brings more people in because they come for the trips and come along after, make new friends.
With the helping hand of this society, providing children the chance to play varieties of sport, Buckingham's sporting future has never looked brighter. Ogiri Omaha for Buckingham News.
Back to the studio.
As summer is drawing to a close, assignments are piling up. We thought it was necessary for it to go out with a bang. So, here is Roger Perkins showing us how to chill and relax with his special Negroni concoction.
I'm going to show you how to make a cocktail today. One of the world's best and simplest cocktails. A lot of people associate cocktails with fruit and umbrellas. This is so far removed from fruit and umbrellas, it's delicious.
It's called a Negroni, and it's named after the Italian count who created it in Florence in 1919. You need 1 measure of Campari, the bitter orange aperitif from Milan. Just pour it into a mixing vessel full of ice. Next, add an equal measure of gin. Make sure it's decent quality. And then add another equal measure of red vermouth. This semi-sweet fortified wine adds depth to the spirits. Now stir with the ice. You're dealing with 3 strong alcohols here. The ice gently dilutes the combination. This isn't a kid's drink. Then pour into a tumbler and garnish with an orange slice. Ecco, the perfect Negroni.
So there you have, a Negroni. Perfect for fine summer weather. Chin chin.
We've all heard the typical knock-knock jokes that have been told time and again. I With the 16th August being Tell a Joke Day, we asked the students of Buckingham their favourite jokes. Sarah Cortez has the first laugh in this funny story.
A man walks into a bar. Ouch. You might hear that kind of joke all the time, but as it's Tell a Joke Day, we've asked the students of Buckingham what their favourite joke is.
What in an office doesn't move? Stationery.
Guy walks into a bar in the middle of rural Scotland. He walks up to the bar and says, "Can I have a pint?" Okay, duly served a pint. There's another guy in there sitting at the bar looking incredibly morose.
What's white, puffy and swings from cake shop to cake shop? I'm orangutan.
You see this bar? I built this bar with my bare hands. I shaped the mahogany. I put it together and it'll last for 50 years. But do they call me McTavish the bar builder? No, they don't.
How do you make a snooker table laugh? Huh? You tickle his balls. You put your hands in the thing and you tickle his balls.
But do they call me McTavish the wall builder?
What do you call a Skoda on the top of a hill? A miracle.
You see that jetty out there? I built that jetty with my bare hands. I drove every stake down, every piling. I nearly drowned in the process. It's brought prosperity to this village. But do they call me McTavish the jetty builder? No. One goat.
No matter what anyone says, the worst jokes were always the best. This is Sarah Cortez for Buckingham News.
Thank you for watching. See you next week.